Okay. So just continuing on, I did I did a little bit extra, like I put this little logo on here because this rail is loosely based on a Noveski rail, which is this guy right here. You can see the rail covers are very similar, so just figured I'd throw that on there just to add that detail in there, that visual detail. Nothing special there. Just did it the way we've been doing. The way we did the stamping of these marks in here is just exactly the same way I did it there. So I didn't feel like we needed to go through that again. And then also, I've been looking for an excuse to put a little bit of color on here. So I'm going to spray paint like a handprint on here. I've been seeing the handprints as part of Substance here, and I've been again looking for an excuse to use one of them. So I just made a new standard layer here. It's not a fill layer. I picked orange, not orange, but red as my color. So I can simply pick a handprint here, and this is what we have. I want to make sure that I have no jitters and stuff. Let's see, I set my angle to 0, so it's just straight up and down. And I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and just stamp it on. There's a little bit of height on this layer. What do we have? 0.06, something like that. Just a little bit. Just so it pops off a little bit. Okay, so I have my little handprint there, but let's make it interesting. Let's add some dripping paint. See if I can find. Here's a drop. So I have this drop right here, so I could just have it leaking down that way. There's lots of different ones in here. Let's see if we can find another one. Here's a leak right here. We can make this one a little bit smaller. Say it's dripping from our thumb. Got another one here. So we can have that. You can add these to each other. You'll see that it all stays at the same level. As far as the height map. What else? We got this leak right here, but this one is a little. So if I hold on Control and left mouse button, I can rotate this. Don't know if I'm gonna. It's not bad. Might use that too. Things like that. You can sort of build these up as you like. There's different things like this sort of blood droplets. What else? Some more sort of splatter. I don't know. You can decide if you want that. Okay, so just something like that. I just wanted to put a little pop of color on there. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see what we can do to maybe so it doesn't look so brand new. Let's put a white mask on there. Go to our smart masks and let's try surface worn. See what that does. So that sort of wears away some of that. It's not bad. Let's try surface rust. That just sort of pushes it back. Let's try the old stain scratch. And let's go in the mask editor and invert. So that one's not so strong. Maybe if that one's not that strong. Increase global balance. There we go. We got something. It actually matches up with the scratches on the receiver. So that's actually kind of cool there. Okay. What else do we have here? Old paint. Why not? Let's try that. And we need to multiply this over. Maybe. Maybe not. Increase our global balance here. Just wear it down a little bit. That's interesting. Let's turn it on and off and see. So you can see what it's doing. Maybe bring back a little bit more. Okay, so you can play with those as you like. So, there we go. Got my little spray painted on handprint just to give this thing a little bit of color. It's all very sort of tan and black. So, I kind of like that little handprint there. just for fun. Okay. With that done, still need to do something with this switch here. So what I'm going to do, let's dirty it up. So Control Alt, right click on it. And that should take us to, yep, to that guy. And what I'm going to do is figure out, I think the plastic. No, that's not it. It's rubber. Okay. So I'm going to take this rubber layer and Control G to group it. And again, what I need, only things that have this material is this piece right here and then the switch itself. So what I'm going to do is just remove this mask from here. Wait, can I copy this mask? Let's try copy it and paste it here. Yeah, it's not going to let me. Wait, let's add a black mask and then paste in the mask. There we go. Okay. So then we can remove this mask here and get the same effect. Okay. So I just learned something today. Good. So then in here on top of the rubber, we can go get our coarse rust, put it over the top, increase our tiling, drop down our value there just to make it a little bit darker and not so reddish. And then we're going to put a black mask on this, put a generator, and do a dirt. Okay, so that's nice and dirty. And of course, we don't want that much dirt. So let's just wear this back a little bit to your liking. And let's see. Let's just slightly increase some of that grunge right there. And then add a paint layer. So all this stuff is kind of repetitive. We've been doing it quite a bit, so I still have my weird brush there. So let's go to brushes and pick something else. What is this? Fur. That's interesting. Let's try that out. Fur brush. And what I want to do is paint away. So I'm going to hit X to invert. It's going to paint away some of the dirt right here because this is where the thumb print or the thumb would be. And then while I do that, I'm also going to get a standard layer to put it up here. And again, we'll just call this shine. So this is the shiny part. And in this layer, we don't want color. Don't really want any height. We do want roughness. And again, let's get a brush here. What about cotton? Nope. Let's just stick to what we know, dirt 2. And I'm going to shrink this down. See what the jitters are looking like here. Let's do a flow jitter as well. And let's see, is that making it shinier or less shiny? Let's undo that. Let's go here. Oh yeah, we need to drop our roughness down. Just to add to that shine. I don't know if this might be too much, but do it on the button too. Because that thumb is sort of laying across here. Okay. And then what I also want to do here with the shine layer is we can do it in the same layer. Let me see, what do we have? So if I've turned my color back on, I can get something a little on the sort of dirty brownish spectrum here. Ooh, that's a little crazy. And actually, let's go ahead and turn off the roughness. I'm not liking that. You know what, let's do it on the old rust here. Go in that paint layer. So we're just painting that rust back here. So X. And I want to use a different brush here. Let's go back to Dirt 2. And let's drop our flow quite a bit. So we want that dirt to just be kind of around that shiny section. Okay. And I may need to go back into Maya and re-export this with this smooth, but we'll see if we can get away with it. Okay. And then what I want to do is maybe add some scratching and stuff on there. So let's make a new layer. Let me think. Should that be? Let's try with just a standard layer. And we want to get rid of color. Turn on height. Let's see if this is going to work. So if I pull my scratches on there as a mask, that may not work. Where are we here? Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, maybe not. So actually what I could do is, instead of doing it there, I can do it on the rubber itself. Or, I'm trying to think here. Let's try the rubber. Yeah, hold on. Let's go in the mask editor and invert that. That is not looking good at all, but let's see. Yeah, I'm not loving that at all. Okay, so no. No on that. Let's go ahead and just remove that. And maybe put it in here. I don't know. Let's see what difference that makes. Okay, maybe not. All right, I'm going to try something else here. So if I put the height in the negatives, so I can beat it up that way. So I'm going to make this real small. And we can, oops. Let's go to real small size and we can actually start to do this by hand even. You know, whatever works. Let's turn down the flow so they're not so deep. And of course, with the pen, you can adjust your pressure sensitivity. Okay, so something like that. All right, so I mean, at this point, This is looking pretty good. And yet again, I still haven't done the back design on the butt pad there, but I will get to it. Okay, I mean, at this point, you can really go whatever direction you want. You can tweak it however you want to make. You can make things dirtier. It's dirty, but it's not super dirty because I didn't want to go too far with that. But you could certainly go crazy with it and really beat it up. For me, this is good. I like where this is going. So I'm going to leave it up to you if you're working on something like this to take it further than that. I don't know what else to put on this guy other than doing the butt pad here. So all I'm going to really do here, let me select this and hit F1. So here's my rear butt pad here. All I'm going to do is just take this UV map and go in Photoshop and then draw that little back part of it and then just stamp it on here. Really, that's all there is to it. And then I'll probably just do a dirt pass. I didn't do that on the butt pad yet, so I'll probably just do a dirt pass on it as well once I have that design in there. And then I'll probably be calling this done. Now there's you know, the magazine to do and the suppressor to do. And I may make videos of that. I don't know. Because again, it's just more of the same stuff. Oh, and we're saving right now. It's just more of the same stuff over and over again. So we'll see. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it might, I guess the magazine might be interesting. The suppressor is just a metal piece. I'm going to put the steel underneath, black metal paint over the top, and then wear it away where it needs to be worn away, just like I've done, and then maybe hit it with a little dirt pass. And that'll probably be good to go. Might add some of this carbon fouling at the front of the suppressor. And then from there, that's pretty much good. You know, you could always come up with more things to do to it. But I need this to be done quickly so I can move on to other things here. So let me go do the butt pad here, and then I'll show you how I put it on there, and then we'll go from there. So I will be right back. Okay, so really quick. So I finally did this. I actually just painted in here. I just used masks and drew this. You know, it's not great. Found the logo on Google and just used that. Then I just did made it look like the edges are sort of wearing away. It's supposed to be rubber, so kind of works. I think I may have to output a displacement map for this if I need it. If not, I won't. But I can always make a height map, displacement map for this that we can. I'll export it 32-bit so that it can displace correctly. And then I just did a dirt pass on it, and it's pretty much done. So, you know, pretty much what we've been doing. It looks pretty beat up. The other thing I did here was I wanted to add more. These charging handles, just every day I'd look at them like, I could improve this. So what I did was, let's see, where is it? The charging handles. So the smudge layer is just it's pretty close to black, but not all the way. It's really dark gray that I put over as a fill layer. And then for here, what I did was I put a mask on, then I did a generator and did a dirt. And that just, shoved this soot into the crevices. So I guess what happens, I was reading up on the operation of the rifle here, is when you pull the trigger and the bullet goes down the barrel here, what happens is that the gases reach about this point here. This is our gas block. And there's a little hole in there that goes up, and then the gas goes into the gas block and then flows down this tube that you see here, which is the gas tube. And that goes in all the way. And let me see if I can remember where our... There we go. So it goes in the gas tube, and you can see the bulk carrier right here, this thing. There is a little hole here called a gas key, and the gas goes in there. And let me get rid of this guy. The gas goes in there, and some of it comes out these two holes right here. But it's used to force the bolt backward to cycle the action, basically. So that action is what kicks out the spent shell and then picks up a new one from the magazine and shoves it in there. Now, when this gun is suppressed, when you put a suppressor on it, the pressure is a lot higher. So you get a lot more gas coming out. And some of it will actually come out through the charging handle. At least that's what I found out. And so you get some of this fouling way back here. So I figured I'd do that. And I actually kind of like how that looks. It looks like just, you know, that carbon buildup is just from being used a lot. Suppressed, you get that carbon buildup. So I kind of like how that looks. The other thing that I did, and all that was just that black layer with a generator and a dirt generator on there. I did the same to the sights here. Just dirtied them up, put a little bit of that soot on them so they're not so clean. Before that, let's look at the charging handles. So the charging handles, before I did that, just were, kind of not very interesting. So I just threw that black stuff in there to make it more interesting. And then with I call it smudge, so it's just getting all smudged up. With the sight, before that it was just kind of, it had some damage, but it's still kind of clean and kind of not very interesting. So by putting that on there, I get this dirtiness here. Did the same for the front sight. You can see it's got some dirt on it. I think that just adds something there. Okay, so that's really all I did. I put a little logo here just as a detail thing. And yeah, that's really, I think I like the way that looks. So I think I'm going to keep that. All right, so that is where we are here. I think this has come along well. Of course, you could always keep going, keep tweaking here and there. But I think, for the most part, I'm going to call this good here, unless I can think of something else that needs to be done. But for my purposes, this is pretty nice, looking pretty good. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else to do with it. I also don't want to overdo it, because you can just keep going and going and going, and before you know it, it's just like, wow, that's too much. So you got to find the balance. You got to figure out what works for you. So I guess we'll see. Maybe I will do a couple of things. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I need to put some the decals on this flash hider here. I totally forgot to do that. So I will do that. I got to go look it up and see what's on it, and then I will be back. So like I said, there's always something else. Yeah, I decided to put the little decals on here. Let's see. If we look at this thing here, so you got these little numbers and patent pending and whatnot on here. So I'm just going to throw those on there real quick. I just went in Photoshop. I found this logo online, and then the numbers I just wrote out in whatever font. I think it was Arial, but whatever. So I'm just going to slap those on there and call it good. Okay, so let's see. So that SF logo goes right here. I have my my decals right there. I just copied literally the same. I don't know if this is the exact same flash hider, but whatever. This will work. So what I need to do, I've come into the flash hider folder, and I'm going to put this below that carbon layer, but above the actual black color. So I'm going to put a new, actually no, let's not use a fill layer. Let's go to materials. So it's kind of gold. So I'm just going to use the gold that they have here. I might have to tone it down. It might be too bright, but let's start there. Yeah, and that is a little bright. I'm going to increase the roughness so it's not so shiny. And then take my color and maybe just drop the value down a little bit just so it's not ridiculous. And then add a black mask, of course. Then we're going to go into our alphas. And we're going to put this in the stencil. We're not going to use it as an alpha. We're going to use it as a stencil. So where did it go? It's in the S's right here. So I'm going to put that stencil there. And now I can hold down S. And don't know why that is there, but I can always erase it. It's kind of hard to see. Here we go. So let's... Oh, wrong one. Straighten that back out. Middle mouse. And then, I don't know, maybe that size. Something like that. If I want to center it perfectly, I can always come in here and turn on the wireframe. And maybe that's a little small, so let's do this. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, let's get out of orthographic. In fact, let's turn off the wireframe too. And turn off our stencil. I think it needs to be bigger, so let's go back. And stencil again. Maybe there. Okay. Let's look at that. And hit a 5. I don't know. Now it looks a little big. Yeah. Now it's too big. All right, let's try it again. F6. I'm going to undo. I'm going to reapply the stencil. So maybe, oops, maybe something like that. Okay, I think that looks good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to tone that down. It's a little too perfect right now, but as a starting point, that's fine. Okay, let's go back to orthographic. And now we need to do so now I gotta figure out where, so this is like way over here. You know what? I think what I need to do, this is slightly different than this one. A little bit. Actually, not really. So I need to, yeah, I made this too big again. So let's try this again. We got to leave this area right here for the text. So we need our logo to be kind of smaller. Okay, so let's just move it up here, something like this. And I'm just going to enlarge this. Okay. And this should be lined up pretty well. Now, I got to check here. I mean, it's quite a bit bigger. So actually what I will do is zoom my camera in just a hair. No, actually zoom it out. To make that wider. Okay. And then the patent pending is on here. Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen because that surface is bending away, but let's see. Let me make this a little bit smaller, even though it's kind of the same size, isn't it? Well, whatever. Let's go here. Okay, let's get rid of stencil real quick and have a look. There's a little bit of stretching there, but not horrible. And yeah, it looks like there's a little bit of a indentation, imprint. So I'm going to take my, where's my height? There it is. I'm going to take my height and go like a negative 0.1. Let's see what that does. Okay, see how that integrates it, but it might be too much. Let's go 0.05. And to me, that's immediately better. Okay. Again, I think it's just way too bright. So what I should do is also, let's go to the smart masks. And you guessed it, stained scratched, put that on there. And wow, that's not what I wanted. Let's see. Okay, that's not working at all. Let's do well, just put a paint. Let's put a paint layer on there. And where's my pen? There it is. Let's go get a brush, dirt one. Hit X to invert it and start to paint some of this down here. And then what we can do is go in the carbon layer, go in the paint, and start to maybe it's, oops, X. Let's enlarge our carbon zone here. And just, put a little bit on there. Maybe something softer. Okay, so we're just making this area a little bit more pronounced. Okay, because if you had a suppressor on here, I mean, the carbon would be over the whole thing, not just parts of it. So I'm just going to put some in there. Okay, so that's going to dull that down. It's not shining beacon. I'm not going to do so much there, but I think that'll look good. I'm going to hit F2 just to hide everything. There we go. So again, you get some really nice details pop in there. And I think we got something pretty nice. So I am going to call this one done at this point. I'm sure I'll be back messing with it. It's, like I do, but I think for the video series, I think this will go fine. I guess I will do the magazine. So we'll do the magazine, and what else do we have to do? The suppressor. I might just run through that real quick. But for the gun itself, this is where I'm going to stop here. Feel free, if you need to go further, go further. But for what I'm doing with this, I think this is good. I think that'll work. Yeah. Hit tab, go full screen. So I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll get to the magazine next, and the suppressor. Those should be pretty quick. They're single pieces. I'm just going to do them one by one. I'll probably bring them into Substance together, but put them on separate texture sets. Even though they're not using UDIMs, I'll show you how to do that, and then we'll texture those up real quick, and then we should be good. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the comment, hit the bell icon. And I will see you in the next one. All right. Bye.